item number 1, routine matters. A, call meeting to order and verify quorum through a roll call. Ms. Aspis? Secretary Aspis. Ms. Haskey? Mr. So?
I am present.
Thank you. Vice President Montoya?
Here.
And myself, we have 3. We have a quorum. We'll go ahead and get started. Item number 2, reports, no board actions. A, graduation progress presentation update by high school principals. And who would like to start? Who do we have? There you go. Ms. Westbrook, if you would, please. Thank you. Mike.
There should be a button on there.
A switch. There you go. Nope.
Not yet.
Still nothing.
Testing, testing. Better? Better? Okay. Good evening, board members, superintendent, assistant superintendent, directors, colleagues, community. My name is Sandra Westbrook. I'm the principal at Kirtland Central High School. I will be giving the update for our senior students at Kirtland Central High School for the class of 2026. We have 168 students at Kirtland Central High School. We have 4 seniors that have already met graduation requirements in December. They're currently finishing out the semester, taking dual credit classes. 7 students are still on track for potential early graduates. These are juniors that will be added in addition to the 168 that's listed. 2 students have already graduated in December 2025. We have 3 that are or will be receiving their associate's degree from San Juan College, and we currently have 5 that are at risk of not graduating. At Kirtland Central High School, we have put in several layers of support to include our student assistance team that actively monitors and assists our students with their dual credit, their VLN program, their distance learning program for credit recovery options, as well as our after-school program for credit recovery options, and the state of New Mexico with the Engage program. Do you have any questions?
The only question I have is in regards to the community participation as far as tickets. How is Kirtland going to handle that?
So we're open seating for our stadium, the football field, which is, this year we're hosting our graduation on Saturday, May 23rd at 10 a.m. We will open our doors, I believe the parking lot opens at 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. And then, so it's open seating pretty much for the morning. And if we have to move the graduation into Bronco Arena for inclement weather, then they will be allotted 10 tickets per senior student.
Okay, I think that would, it's worked in the past, right? You've never really just had a rush on the gate?
No, we haven't, and I've been there for 8 years now, and I have never seen a rush at the gate. We've had standing room at every graduation, which has been in the evening. This year, fortunately, we're going to be on a Saturday morning. We're just going to be in competition in several other graduations in the Four Corners area. Okay. So I don't anticipate an extremely large crowd. We already put our parents down on our parents on the football field, and then our graduates, and then our teachers and staff, so that our bleachers are left open. We bring up in additional bleachers on the side. So we try to accommodate everyone that we can.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Mr. So?
Not really. I want to say thank you for the good work at Kirtland Central High School. And just looking at some of the data, the numbers in terms of potential early graduates and students who've graduated, and of course, students are receiving an associate degree. That's really good news to hear, and it tells me about the good things happening at Kirtland Central High School. Thank you.
Thank you.
No questions.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Who do we have next? Shiprock High School.
Yeah, good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Carlson, the audience who are in attendance. I'll be presenting our Newcomb High School, the
Newcomb.
graduate, senior graduate projection. We have 52 seniors who will be graduating. Oh, Dr. White too, the principal, forgot to bring that up. 48 students are currently on track, and this would be that, what classes they're taking right now. They would need to just pass that. We have 4 students who are currently utilizing our credit recovery programs. We have 4, all 4 students are on the VLN online, which we use with the district, within the district. And then we have, out of the 4, we have 3 that we recommended to work with Engage New Mexico through the state. So in total, like I said, we are aiming to get all 52 seniors to walk in May. The type of intervention we have used to support our seniors, we've, of course, have done report cards, whether it's on weekly, bi-weekly, quarterly, even by semesters. We did monthly senior parent meetings, coordinating with the senior sponsors and the senior class officers. We also have done senior audits twice throughout the school year. We did one beginning of the school year, we did one after the first semester, and then we did, it's been ongoing this semester because we've had some students finishing up their credit recovery. So once we know the student finishes the credit recovery, we're updating their credit status. We also completed the next step plans, which is required by the state. So all of seniors have that in place. We also have a tracking system that we developed, a spreadsheet that we utilize a lot. We have our monthly, we call it like grad team meeting, which our team members involving the admin team, the counselor, and the senior sponsors. And then plus our school secretary who oversees the attendance. That progress tracking is also utilized as a way for us to take note how we're contacting parents or meeting with students that we know we need to like do a check-in on. I'm gonna say seniors of concern. I mentioned that we're using the credit recovery and support we give them is if they need to work on it during lunch, we'll provide that time. We keep our library on their behalf. And then we also have after school tutoring, which, it's open to them to utilize that time to complete their credit recovery. We also have the weekly, like I said, I already mentioned that. The Engage New Mexico, we get that support state. We have a coach who helps to do the attendance check as well as their credit recovery. We also have, we had to do some home visits specific to, I'm gonna say 2 seniors, because their attendance was back to where, really just trying to have them stay in school was a challenge, and the home visits really helped, and then having to explain to them, what they need to ensure they graduate and go on. Last, I think what really has helped is, like I said, forming our grad team. and doing an update, monthly update with, getting involved with, with seniors, doing the check-ins, doing the calls, whatever it took that, we needed to do, and keeping everyone in the loop. So even when the sponsors, giving them their information, being involved, the sponsors also were usually readily prepared when parents ask questions during the parent meetings. So that's what we've been doing, and again, our goal is we get all 52 graduated.
Good. Okay, any questions from the board? Ms. Haskey?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Mr. So?
I don't have any questions. It just, the data, the information looks very promising. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Montoya?
No questions. Thank you for your presentation.
I do have a question in regards to the seating, as I asked Kirtland. Are we in the gym or are we going to be outside?
So something that we're looking into, we do have a parent meeting coming up next week. And that is to finalize whether to try something new, which is doing the graduation outside. It never has been done, but of course, if we should decide to go that route, we would still have to consider giving parents tickets so they have access to the ground or the floor. And then we need to consider the, I'm gonna say, limited seating in the bleachers. Like I said, we've never had it like that before. Usually, it has been in the gym, which I'm gonna say for the past years, we've been coming across like full capacity. So we'll see how it goes, but we definitely will have a plan in place. If we require tickets for even, I'm gonna just say like VIP, we'll definitely let the superintendent know.
Okay. All right, thank you, and I'm glad you guys are working on that too. Because again, just as with Kirtland, we certainly don't want to have a rush, especially if it is inside that gym. So I appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you.
And I apologize, it wasn't Shiprock, it was Newcomb. Here comes Shiprock.
Good evening, Board President Montoya, board members, Superintendent Steve Carlson. Shiprock High currently has 112 seniors. We have 111 that are on track to graduate if all classes are passed. So again, 112 are possible to walk. One senior is planning to complete with their associate degree. And then we had 2 juniors that moved into senior status and should be graduating in May. Some of the interventions that we are using, we do send out grade checks to parents every week either through email, text message, through the Kinvo. We also have our SIT team, student intervention team, that meets weekly, and we go over students that are falling behind or failing classes. We do have meetings with the counselor and the coordinator, the CCR coordinator, that we do look at those that are at risk for attendance and grades. We have an intervention period where kids have been moved to help assist on one-on-one with their failing classes to complete their credits. We do have after-school tutoring Monday through Thursday. We also do offer lunch tutoring. And then we have our credit recovery hour as well for 7th hour. As far as the tickets go, we have 5 tickets that we're going to be giving out to each student for their families. Those tickets will be used to get in an hour at 5 o'clock into the pit. So we're planning to do our graduation in the pit. And then everybody else will be let in at 6 o'clock.
Good. Any questions from the board?
No questions.
No, I don't have any questions, but thank you.
Mr. So? Mr. So, any questions? Ms. Montoya, any questions?
No questions. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, career prep.
Good evening, President Montoya, members of the board, Superintendent Carlson, everybody in the audience. I'm Brian Paniawa, principal at Career Prep High School. So our current numbers, we have 14 seniors. 14 other seniors have already completed graduation requirements so far this year and will graduate in May of 2026. We had 3 recently graduate third quarter, so we're continuing on with our graduation of a lot of our seniors. 14 juniors this year have moved to senior status, and one of those juniors is graduating early. I need to amend that last little bullet there on the first part. We have 26 students on track to graduate and walk in May. As far as interventions are concerned, we haven't had anything new. We have 2 things new other than what I presented to you guys back in January. So the 2 things that I want to point out is our wellness room. We got that grant this past summer for a wellness room, and I'm glad to say that we've got that thing up and running. We have a dynamite young man in there who's starting to work with students, providing some social and emotional help for students who are going through a rough patch, going through a rough time. He's starting to make some inroads with our students as well. So we've got that layer of support going on at our school. And then we added a new attendance platform, EDIA. We're piloting that this year. The district is actually piloting that to help with our attendance and help reach out to families and look for patterns of why students are absent. So it gives us a little bit more data that we can analyze and come up with solutions for our attendance. As far as graduation tickets and all of that is concerned, so we're going to have our graduation at the Phil Thomas Performing Arts Center. The lower section is reserved for our staff and our VIP. So VIP, what we're doing is we're taking the number of seats down there at the bottom, dividing that by our number of graduates and giving those graduates those number of tickets. So that's whoever those graduates want to be identify as their VIP guests will be down there in that lower section. And then the upper section is for everybody else on a first come, first served basis. So we hope that helps with getting everybody into the building, making sure that everybody has access to come celebrate the graduation of our seniors. I don't have anything else. I stand for any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the board, Ms. Haskey?
No, but I think you're doing a great job. Thank you. All the principals are. Thank you.
Mr. So? Mr. So, any questions? Ms. Montoya, any questions?
No questions. Thank you for your presentation.
I don't have any either. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, on to item B, student protest by Steve Carlson.
Thank you, Board President, members of the board. This was a question that was posed, I believe, in the end of February, in the February board meeting, where I believe it was Board Secretary Aspis had asked about if we have policies regarding student protests, because that was something that was happening nationally at that time. And so we decided to go ahead and tackle that. Mr. Montoya and I had a conversation about it, and whether or not we had a policy. We both looked for policies, and we did not really find protest policies. I apologize for the feedback there. But Mr. Montoya went ahead and he did some searching, and he asked AI the question about a board policy from CCSD and what can and can't be done. So that right there is basically the answer to that question. Instead of going through all that, I know the board members basically have that. I'm just going to kind of describe real vaguely what we can and can't do. If students protest on campus and they are basically silent protests that doesn't interfere with instruction. That's perfectly okay, and that goes all the way back to a Supreme Court ruling, Tinker versus Des Moines, that was, I think, in 1969 during the Vietnam War, when students wore a black armband. They were suspended at the time, but eventually they won the case, and they said, the Supreme Court said, you can, that your free speech is still protected when you walk in the school building, students and teachers. And I think most of you who are administrators out there, how many of you back there remember Tinker versus Des Moines? That's one of the big cases, I know, if you went to classes, like Mr. Montoya did as well. So on campus, we can stop them if there's a disruption on campus. Now, if students decide to walk off campus, that's something that we can deal with as well, but it's basically the same as if students walked off at any other time. There'd be consequences for walking off, there'd be consequences for attendance. So we can punish those behaviors, but we cannot stop them physically. For off-campus protests, that's a little different. Generally, there's very little we can do if students are off campus. They have the right to free speech. While they're off campus, they can kind of do what they want. And if you look, scroll all the way down to number 3 on there, there's some relevant policies. So we do have some policies that are kind of referenced right there. And you can go ahead and look at those: student discipline, student code of conduct, absences, and publications and expression. And then there's a summary at the bottom. I'll just go ahead and read that, and then if there's any questions, we can answer that. So the first one, can they protest? Yes, they can protest. If it's pure speech, like wearing an armband or a button that doesn't stop or disrupt class. Can they be punished for a walkout? Generally speaking, yes, they can. And there will be attendance consequences. Can they be stopped off campus? Pretty much no. Students can protest how they want off campus. They can post crazy things on Facebook, generally speaking, and there's very little we can do about those things. So that's our sort of lack of policy, but how we would treat student protests. Any questions from the board?
Questions from the board, Ms. Haskell?
The school would intervene if it were more of harassment or bullying, not just if.
Yes, absolutely. We do have policies for that kind of disruptive conduct. Bullying is something that we will take seriously, and definitely there will be consequences for that. Absolutely. Any other questions?
Mr. So, any questions?
I don't have any questions at the moment. Thank you.
Ms. Montoya, any questions?
No questions.
And again, just for everybody, it's a lot of this is covered not explicitly, but in respects to their activity, the students' activities. And again, I'm just going to go over that summary. Can they protest? Yes. Pure speech. Can they be punished for walkouts? Yes, but generally in regard to the absences and the off-campus behavior, very rarely unless it's a direct threat or severe harassment. So there can be repercussions in that sense, and certainly everything is being guided by the law, and with the policy codes that we have, that pretty much addresses it through a roundabout way on their activities and behavior within the school system itself. So it's pretty straightforward as far as what you can and can't do because of the Supreme Court cases. With that, if there's nothing else, we can go ahead and move on. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I appreciate actually the question in regards because of what's happened nationally. So we certainly have to talk about that. So on to item 3, reports and possible board actions. A, presentation and board action on EFM, presentation by Christina Spears. A. Spears. Floor is yours, please.
Good evening, school board, President Montoya, school board member Montoya, Mr. Superintendent Carlson. My name's Rodney Armenta. We were discussing our district fleet and the condition of our fleet. And we formed a small committee and we began talking, and we talked to EFM, which is Enterprise Fleet Management. So we have them here to present. I just wanted to introduce them and up for your consideration tonight. And what they'll be presenting is a proposal to have a fleet management system for our current white fleet for the school district. So with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Christine.
Good evening, School Board President Montoya, Mr. Carlson. My name is Christine Spears. I work with Enterprise Fleet Management. I brought a few other people that I'll introduce as well. So James Harris is my director, so he oversees our territory, which is New Mexico, El Paso, and Southern Colorado. And then virtual, we have Gabby Harding, and I'll let her introduce herself briefly, and then we'll jump into it.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gabby. I am the government manager for Enterprise Fleet Management. So I oversee our public partners in the south and central part of the US. Across the country, we have about 2,500 clients that we work with today. Again, thank you for the opportunity. I will be here to answer any questions. I'm going to pass it off to Christine, who's going to talk through the situation of the current white fleet and what our proposed solution is going to be.
So a little, Mr. Carlson and Rodney and the committee kind of got together to discuss really the situation of your fleet. So all in, excluding your grant funded vehicles, so all general funded vehicles, you guys have 99 different vehicles in fleet. Currently, 49% of those vehicles are over the age of 10 years old. So naturally, I mean, we can all agree when you drive a vehicle off the lot, it depreciates and it loses its value very, very quickly. And as these vehicles continue to age, your operational expenses, meaning your fuel and your maintenance expenses, only continue to increase. So just based off of that data alone, you guys are replacing your vehicles currently when they're not worth a whole lot, and you're putting a lot of money into them operationally. So with a newer fleet of vehicles on the road, you're going to have lower operational expenses and you're going to be able to capitalize on the equity. But other things come with that as well, like lower downtime for your drivers, for your employees. But more importantly than that, the safety of your fleet is naturally going to increase as well. Currently, 30% of your fleet is missing electronic stability control, which is the #1 safety feature for drivers since the seatbelt. A lot of these vehicles are being used for student transport, so it's really important that we get safer vehicles on the road for your team, for your community, and most importantly for your students. So what we've talked about and how we can help you guys is, again, we want to help you get into a healthy replacement approach. Our goal is to help cut the life cycle of your vehicles down to 5 years, help you buy your vehicles. We can help you sell them. We have a lot of programs in place to help you guys maintain them as well, to help control and track your operational expenses. And when we go to sell those vehicles, all of that equity is going to come back to the district. Most choose to continue to apply that and keep it into a fleet replacement fund to help create sustainability within your budget. And we want to help spread your dollar further, because a vehicle that, you know, pre-COVID costs $40,000 is now costing $50 to $60. And so it makes it really hard if you're paying cash to really leverage every dollar that you have, because it's just not being used as it can't be used as well as it has been in the past. So we have alternative funding structures that are going to help create that sustainability within your budget. And again, once we go to sell the vehicles, all of that equity will come back to the district. We have a negotiated RFP with Sourcewell and TIPS and ENI as well. So all of the due diligence has been satisfied through those national agreements. And with that, I will stand for any questions. I kept it pretty high level, so.
Questions from the board? Ms. Haskell?
I don't have any questions, but it's concerning to know that half of our fleet is, I guess, could be potentially hazardous. So that's just the concern that I would have. And thank you for the presentation.
Absolutely.
Mr. So?
Yeah, do you have a quick cost benefit analysis of this proposal? What is going to be the cost per bus versus what are current operating costs is for the current fleet for the bus?
I just want to make sure I heard you correct, board member. So you're asking what your current operational expenses versus what cutting it would be? You're breaking out, so I want to make sure I heard it correctly.
Yes.
Okay.
What is the cost benefit analysis of this proposal?
Sure.
Christy, and I think Mr. Board Member, you also mentioned the word bus. I do want to just make it clear that we're talking about the white fleet only. So we're not talking about the yellow fleet, the school buses. We're talking about your maintenance vehicles, safety vehicles, like your pickup trucks and cargo vans and stuff like that.
And board member, so based off of industry average and the age of your fleet, you guys are spending roughly $175 per month per vehicle. When you replace, and that's over, again, you're holding your vehicles for about 10 years. So if you were to cut that vehicle life cycle in half, your maintenance is naturally going to decrease to around $70 per month per vehicle, because you're going to be getting oil changes, fluid top-offs, some wipers here and there. You're not going to be having to complete engines and transmissions on your vehicles. It's just going to be very preventative.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Montoya, any questions?
No questions. And all of these, the 49% that's currently over 10 years old, are we still going to actively try to resell those and things like that to try
Great
to
question.
help
The budget costs? Yes. So for those vehicles that are 10 years old, so we identified internally there's around anywhere, depending on where we land, 38 to 45 vehicles that year one we're going to help look at replace for you guys. A few options, we can help sell them for you guys if you choose that avenue. I would say anything that's worth less than $2,500, it's going to be better for you guys to just handle the disposal of those on your own. Anything that's worth more than that, we can certainly help sell that. The team that will now be selling your vehicles is the same team that sells Enterprise Rental Car, sells their vehicles. So they get paid off of how quickly and for how much they sell them. So it only benefits you guys to have us sell your government-owned assets.
No other questions. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Ms. Chappelle if you've had any input to this.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, board members, and thank you, guests, and those participating. We actually had a really good team on this. We looked at what it costs without this program versus what would be the benefits for this program. The team really dove into that, and came back saying this is a net positive. In addition to the savings on maintenance costs, it also means that we have safer vehicles because they're newer. And so, especially given the rural and remote nature of our district, it's very helpful to have vehicles that we're not afraid of breaking down, for example. So in addition to that, of course, you also have fuel savings and other things with newer vehicles. From a contract standpoint, I have reviewed the contracts. I did have a few changes that needed to be made. My understanding is that those have been made, and before the board votes on this, we'll make sure that that occurred. But so from my perspective, this is a solid plan.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. One of the things when I was going through that in board docs that was intriguing to me, obviously the upgrade with all the information on the new vehicles in comparison to some of the vehicles that we have. I mean, almost non-existent, right? So I really appreciate that. And coming out of the maintenance department, I absolutely know exactly what you're talking about. And so it's nothing but a net positive for me, especially in regards to the safety aspect of not just our employees, but more importantly, our students as well that are being transferred to and from with our vehicles. So I appreciate that. And if there's nothing else at this point in time, I do believe, taking into consideration what Ms. Chappelle said, this is possible board action If there's any board member that would like to make a motion to accept this proposal at this time,
I'd like to
I'll make a motion.
I believe, hold on. I'm gonna get corrected here and I don't mind.
This is just as a report, this meeting, I understand it to be on consent agenda for next meeting.
Okay. I'm just going by with what I read, so thank you very much for that clarification. Yeah, it did. So I will defer that to the consent agenda then. You want to retract that motion?
I'll retract the motion.
All right. All right, well, I appreciate it, and it's, again, understanding and knowing exactly what we have to deal with those vehicles. This is a very good opportunity, so thank you very much for your report.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, board members. Have a great evening.
You too, as well.
Great, thank you.
Item B, presentation of board action on school year 2026, 2027 academic calendar by Ms. Amrine.
Good evening, everybody. Tanya Amrine, Human Resources. I am presenting the school year 26-27 academic calendar. Do we have it on the screen? All right, thank you. Could you make it a little bit bigger? So we had a series of several meetings, had a calendar committee. We came together, we built this particular calendar. There was another calendar, a second version, and those two versions went out to vote. And I'll speak about the vote here in just a minute, but first I want to talk about the differences in the calendar. Both calendars that went out to vote had 179 student days. Both started for staff August 3rd, for students August 6th. Both ended for students and staff on May 27th. Both calendars had the same holidays and days off. The only difference between the two calendars was that version 1 had 3 half days and 1 early release, where version 2 had all full days. The purpose of the half days, which are placed in months that do not have professional development, the purpose of those half days is, and it'll be a late start, so students will come in around lunchtime, eat lunch, and finish out the day, to have that morning time for staff to have professional development meetings, trainings, etc., which is why they're placed in the months that don't have professional development. Another consideration for the half days was that if we have the professional development in the morning, in the afternoon, the students could have, like I said, lunch, finish out school, and they would already be on site for any after-school activities or athletics, and then could catch the bus home as normal. So those are the two calendars. The calendar that won, as I said, was version 1, which has the half days and early release. We had a total of 910 votes, which is more than we've had since I've been doing the calendars, probably doubled the number of votes. Calendar 1, which is the version that won, had 619 votes. Calendar 2 had 294 votes. Overwhelmingly, the community, as you can see, the community and the staff voted for calendar 1. A couple of data points in terms of calendar and budgets. This calendar version meets the 1140 minimum, so the hours. Elementary students actually have 1,154 hours and a half. And then the the middle school and secondary students have 1,150.3 hours. So we're well above the minimum threshold of 1140. I forgot one other new addition into the version that we looked at. We have one remote day, which is down in April 7th. So what that will be is it's at the high school. It's the SAT day, where the juniors are at school, and then all the rest are out. So we're going to have a remote day on that day, and we have to have that on the board calendar to get it pre-approved so that PED will count it as an instructional day. I think that's it. What questions do you have?
I'll open up to the board. Ms. Haskell, do you have any questions?
I do. With that remote day, are we going to ensure that all our students have Wi-Fi access or have means to be able to participate if they choose to do so that day? Thank you.
Yes. One thing too that I forgot that I should mention, on a remote day, for PED to consider a remote day an instructional day, we need to have 50% of the day with asynchronous instruction, meaning, I'm sorry, synchronous instruction, meaning students and teachers present at the same time. So we will meet that criteria, yes.
Did that answer your question, Ms. Haskell?
I do. I guess I just really want to know the efforts or leading up to that April date that there is an effort to ensure that the kids have at least all efforts made to make sure that they have Wi-Fi to be able to participate that day.
Yes, to the best of my knowledge, that will be a concerted effort made by the district.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. So, any questions?
No, no questions.
Ms. Montoya, any questions?
No questions.
I was impressed with the turnout.
I
A
was
lot of
too.
people.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's a good thing. I have nothing further, so would someone like to make a motion to accept this calendar 1, correct?
Correct.
I'll make a motion to accept version 1 of the 2026 to 2027 academic calendar.
Second.
I'll second that.
Vote a roll call, Ms. Haskell?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Ms. Montoya?
Yes.
And myself, yes, it's approved.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Item C, presentation of board action on Bank of Southwest authorized list by Stacy Gallagher.
Good evening, Board, President Montoya, Board members, Superintendent, Mr. Carlson. So this action is probably going to have to happen at the next board meeting as we got further clarification from Southwest Bank. What it is I'm already been put on as a signer at Southwest Bank, but there has never been an official board action to remove Donovan Yazzie as the finance director of Central Consolidated Schools. So we need to have a letter that removes him and puts myself as the finance director for the school district. So that is the letter that you will receive at the next board meeting that will need to be signed and approved.
Okay, and I thank you for that clarification and look forward to be able to do that then. Ms. Chappelle has a comment, I believe.
When Mr. Centennial was on, I remember the board did remove Donovan. So I think we need to just circle back to that action. And is Dominic still on?
He's removed as a signer, but he needs,
Okay.
they need to know that the official finance director.
My recollection is that Donovan, so the names are way too similar. Donovan, we did have that action replacing Dominic with, the other way, with Donovan with Dominic. And so now we need to have, we can get that board action because it was in the minutes. And so all we need to do is now have replace Dominic. What's their name?
With Smith Gallagher, which we can do with that official document on next Thursday.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So no action on that. We'll take care of that next week as well. On to item D, presentation of board action on CTE school proposal by Mr. Ryan Padiagua.
Good evening again. President Montoya, members of the board, Superintendent Carlson. Thank you for having me on the agenda to make this presentation. So I brought my note sheet, so I'm gonna read from my note sheet so I don't forget anything. So forgive me if I'm not making eye contact and looking up that way. So thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. I'm asking for your support in redesigning Career Prep High School into a CTE-focused high school. This proposal keeps our commitment to supporting students who need us, but gives that support a clearer purpose by connecting graduation pathways, careers, and life after high school. So why is this change needed? Career Prep needs more than small incremental changes. The school needs a clear identity and a stronger purpose. Right now, a lot of the school's identity is tied to credit recovery. I want us to become known as a school for preparation, opportunity, and real next steps for life after high school. So what I'm proposing is that we remove Career Prep High School, we transition, Career Prep High School to a CTE-focused high school, operating with 3 pathways so far, and with the understanding that we'll add other pathways as need arises, as the marketplace changes, and so on and so forth. So 2 of the pathways we're proposing, health sciences and teaching, are already pathways that the board has showed support for through our cultural policy under retention, recruitment and retention. And so just aligning up with what the board are already asking us to do. And then we want to bring in a business and advertising pathway as well. I was talking with one of our teachers, Dr. Chi, yesterday, and he's been asking his students for years about business ideas and how can we create business here on the reservation. One of his students came up to him yesterday and said that he talked with his mom and they want to open up a hot dog stand. So we got a little guy out there already thinking about opening up a business, and we need to help those young minds out. So starting as a hot dog stand, who knows where that might lead to with that young man. So we did get some feedback. We gave 2 surveys to students, a satisfaction survey, first of all, just asking questions about how satisfied they are at Career Prep. Are they satisfied with how their education is? Do they believe that the education they're getting actually prepares them for the real world? I gave a presentation to the students as well, and then sent out a survey on CTE. So what the feedback told us for students was that students do value the school. They want learning, but however, they want learning to be more connected to life after high school. They cited things like the safety of the school. They enjoyed that. They enjoyed the food. They enjoyed the teachers as well. But they felt there was sort of that disconnect. What do I do after high school? And this kind of echoes some of the sentiments that I brought before you, I think when I presented with Mr. Deswood earlier this year, about students not feeling too comfortable making that bridge between high school and life. And so we want to make that bridge a little bit more concrete for our students. They also expressed interest in hands-on learning, internships, apprenticeships, certification, and clear career direction. Since I've made that presentation to the students, given out the survey, I had students come up and ask me, what is this going to look like? What does health sciences look like? What's next year going to look like? Really excited about sort of moving into that direction. I gave staff a survey as well. I presented to the staff, and I have had a survey for community members, and I gave that presentation last week at our cultural night. So the staff's feedback supported the move, but also they highlighted what we need to do it well. And so the staff is really looking at things like capacity. Do we need training for that? What does success look like at the end of year 1? So they're really thinking and digging into how do we actually going to make this work. And the parent and community feedback supported the transition, especially to health sciences. There was a lot of support for that pathway from the community. But they reminded us to keep strong academics and student support in place, things that Career Prep is already known for. So building on our strengths, but expanding out as well. So what's going to stay the same at Career Prep? We're not abandoning the students that we currently serve. We're welcoming them back in. They are our base. They're our kids. They are Career Prep students. And they like it there, according to the surveys that they were given. We're not removing support for the students who need help catching up, and we will still serve students who need flexibility support and a second chance in some cases. What will change, and what we're proposing to change, is credit recovery will no longer be the school's identity. The school's identity will become preparation, pathways, and purpose. Students will need to see more relevance in their learning, and expectations around attendance, accountability, and professionalism will be stronger for students as well. We're also engaging in a rebranding mission. If the school is truly changing, the name and logo should reflect that change as well. A new identity helps communicate a fresh start. It also separates the new model from old assumptions. When people hear Career Prep High School, they have an idea of what it is, and we want to break from that. Not that anything in the past, or administrators or teachers or students in the past did anything wrong, but we want a brand new future, a brand new school. Our students are already helping through this process with ideas for a new name, new logo, which helps build ownership from our students and help build buy-in from our students. The redesign also needs to honor and support the diverse culture of our students. It's important that students and families see themselves reflected in the new school model. Parent and community feedback made it clear that culture, identity, and community relevance must stay visible. So, like I said, I presented this to our community at our cultural night that Dr. Chi and his students put on. By sign-in records, we had over 140 people attend that. And that culture night was really, really valuable in kind of putting that identity out there. We don't have sports teams. We don't have a lot of these things that bond students to schools like our comprehensive high schools do. And so we need to figure out ways to do that. And that falls under our culture and community, opening up our school to those kind of community events and bonding our community and letting them know that their values and their norms are reflected in the change that we're proposing as well. So what would success look like? First of all, better attendance. We're not known for our attendance, and so we want to really focus in on that. And to that end, our wellness room supervisor is getting a few more responsibilities. So we're looping that person in as far as our attendance is concerned and reaching out to parents and students as well. Stronger credit completion. At the end of year one, we're looking at all of our cohorts, not just our graduating cohort, but 1, 2, 3, and 4, so freshmen all the way up to seniors, that we do have credit completion at all levels and nobody's falling behind. More student participation in our pathway courses, more motivation and clearer purposes from students, and early progress towards certification and career-connected experience, and a visible shift from recovery to readiness. What I'm asking from the board to approve to redesign Career Prep High School as a CTE-focused high school, approve to launch our 3 pathways that I outlined earlier, and support for rebranding, including a new name, logo, mission, and vision. This change is not about just changing for change's sake of change. It's about giving students a stronger, more relevant, and more hopeful path forward. We want to be known as a first choice school, not a last chance school. Thank you. I stand for questions.
Open up the questions to the board. Ms. Haskey?
I think it's great. I was there at the event last week and was able to see the amazing things happening at Career Prep. And the kids they have buy-in. It's so hard to get the buy-in. They were the ones who led, I guess, in planning the event from last week, and it was just amazing. We have some amazing kids there and amazing educators, and I think it's a great idea. I think that we allow them to flourish, and we open up we quit limiting them and their potential. So I'm in full agreement. Thank you.
Mr. So.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the proposal. It's at least from what I've seen with the data when it comes to CTE programs is students tend to do better with CTE programs because it's relevant, it's related to what they're learning, and I think it's going to be a good project for our district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Montoya.
I was reading through the proposal, and I feel like there's a lot of really good content in there. I do have a question, since it's going to be a pathways-focused curriculum.
Yes.
Are we holding the students as soon as they choose a pathway to complete that to the whole 4 years, will they be able to change their pathway? And are there going to be additional like certifications and advantages for choosing one at the end of the 4 year? Like, are they going to get a coding opportunity to get like a coding certificate, or any of those other pathways that have been proposed?
Right. So yes, students are able to switch pathways. We want them to be comfortable learning in the style that they want to learn. And if they choose a pathway and they're like, hey, this ain't for me, man. Yeah, we'll counsel them on, their interest. We are going to use Naviance to get interest inventories, so students have a good idea of what their strengths are going in before they choose a pathway. So we'll put that in place as well. And the student survey, the top two pathways that people spoke about, students spoke about, number one is welding. We don't have that, but we have the capacity to expand into welding and construction. And so that's something, on the horizon for us. And number two was nursing. And so, or the health sciences, they're really interested in those two pathways. So as we grow, as we get this thing kicked off and started and moving down the right direction, most definitely we want to add more pathways. Computer science and coding, that's a huge pathway. We do have capacity for that one as well.
Yeah, is there a reason why we can't add or put on like a welding program? Because I think the lure or attraction of even welding is you graduate high school, you go into a career where you're making over 30, 40 bucks an hour.
Right. So
and it doesn't require a college diploma.
Right. The limitation right now is that our wood shop and our welding shop have been used as storage in a weight room. And so we do have the infrastructure there, yet we don't know, they haven't been used in so long. Do we need to replace the piping? Do we need to replace exhaust systems, all that kind of stuff? So it's not something that we could probably jump into right now, not knowing what we have there and what we need to replace and what kind of capital and investment would go into that, and of course getting new machines. But it's something that we are looking at exploring, definitely bringing in, again, student driven, and that's one of the big things. There's a lot of interest in the trades, and so if we can steer our school towards those and helping those students out, absolutely.
Any other questions, Ms. Montoya?
No other questions.
Ms. Aspis has a question. Go ahead.
Yes, on that CTE, will that change the criteria for what that school was intended for, though? As a, I guess a remedial, I don't know, will it change the criteria where our students that do go there, to make it harder for them to find another place to go?
Do you have a question?
Yeah, no. We will still have support for those students who originally intended to go there. We still will stick with our 4-period block, which gives us that flexibility to graduate students on time, get them caught up on credits. But we are moving away from that credit recovery identity into the CTE pathway identity. So for now, we're still welcoming our students that we have that need that support.
To answer your question?
Yeah, and then also, how did your idea come about?
So this was an idea that kicked off. Superintendent Carlson visited me beginning of the year. We talked about career prep, and he asked me a question: do we do a lot of career prep? I said we do a lot of credit recovery, and so that kind of got me thinking a little bit. Are we doing the right thing? Students, when I was talking with them, and I'd ask, whether they're getting in trouble or we're just having a conversation. One of the things I always ask my students is, what are your plans after high school? What are we preparing you for? And most of my students are saying, I want to get into the trades. I want to get into nursing. Some of them have a clear idea. I want to get into welding. I want to be a mechanic. I want to go work with my uncle in his shop. Some had no idea other than I want to get into the trades. And so with that kind of, those conversations that started that seed of this might be a direction that we want to explore as we try to get ourselves out of designation and be a place where students want to come to, and we get rid of our attendance problem, and we make sure that we provide those opportunities for students to want to be there. And then once we have them there, we go through the credits that we need to with the state, get them graduated with a diploma, and give them an opportunity to get out into the world right from high school. And if they don't get right out into the workforce, at least give them an opportunity to understand how to get from where they are when they graduate to where they want to be.
Anything further?
Yeah, I just think it's a good vision because eventually, perhaps instead of transporting our students from there to Von Wilson, perhaps be closer to career prep. So I think it's a good vision, and hopefully it expands. Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we move on, and I know this isn't just a simple shift or change, certainly. I'm going to ask the superintendent, have we discussed this with the PED? What is their positions? What is their thoughts? Since affecting the kids here on the reservation, is it something that we've discussed? That's not me. That we've discussed with the Navajo Nation as far as that change as well?
So this has been gone over thoroughly with the PED. So yes, they've been very much involved with this. As far as the Navajo Nation, that's a different question, and I don't believe we have done any sort of tribal consultation, but I think that would probably be something that we want to put on the agenda.
And I understand this. This is obviously a shift and a change, and is something that is to be determined by the board. And I've said in the past, and I've certainly expressed this out loud, that I'm in favor of those programs being in all the high schools, and the fact that this one is going to be focused especially for these students in that area, with a lot of these kids who, I hate to phrase it this way, looking at a last chance, but that's how some of them see it. And fortunately, we are there to do that. I just have more questions, so I'm kind of apprehensive to really move this evening on it. I mean, we have next week to discuss these things and to discuss further what we need to do. But I think at this point, from the responses from the board, it's very positive. But I think there's some technical things that we're going to have to work out in respects to not just the school itself, not the students itself, but also looking at the entirety of the employees and how that affects them.
Absolutely.
So I think we quite honestly need to table that until next week before we make a decision and get some good concrete information and bring that back to us on how we're going to do that. Because even at this point in time, Superintendent, I believe we're still trying to right size in respects to the student count dropping and within the classrooms themselves, right? So that's something for me personally that we have to take all these things into consideration. It's not just a matter of snapping the fingers and saying, okay, we're going to go from here to here, without looking at the totality of its effect on everybody within that facility. I hope that's a fair assessment and response to the board. And I would just want to make sure we're very judicious about this and how we move and make these decisions. And again, I think certainly the tenor at this point in time is very positive. I just want to make sure we're doing it right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Just real quick comment. So I just wanted to add one last thing to this discussion is that, so the third option, again, if this plan isn't approved by the district, the third option is a complete shutdown by the PED. So I just want to stress the urgency for this plan, because once this plan is approved, Brian has to create a whole 90-day plan that is supported by the PED as well. In fact, Brian just came back from meeting with the PED today and got a lot of direction from them. So I just wanted stress the importance of approving this plan, sir. Thank you.
I appreciate that, but I don't think we have to do that this evening. We can certainly make that decision at next week's regular board meeting. We're okay with that, Mr. Paniagua? Mr. Deswood?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Superintendent? Okay, got a thumbs up. So I would appreciate it if we go ahead and table this until next week to make sure we dot our i's and cross our t's. Because like I said, I'm looking at it in its totality of everybody in that community for that school.
Sure.
So, someone like to make a motion to table? Again, we're gonna decide this, but it won't be until next week, because I think there's some deeper conversations we need to have.
I make a motion to table until next week's meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, vote to roll call. Ms. Haskey?
Yeah.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Ms. Montoya?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Thank you for that information, and again, it's very positive, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. With that, we can move on to item E, presentation and board action on unified grant application for IDEA B budget by Joel, Balasut. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, board president, board members, superintendent, colleagues, and community. So I'm here today to present the CCSD Unified Grant Application for IDEA for 2026-2027. The current year allocation we receive from the state are the following. So we have 1,249,185 for 106, and this one is for K-21, K-12. The IDEA B24109, which is for pre-K, it's 54,925, which would total to 1,304,110. Next slide. The following would show expenditure details for 106, which is the K-12. It's divided into the following: salaries and benefits for special education teachers and educational assistants, wherein it's 406,546. Next one is salaries and benefits for transition counselors. That is 492,893. And the next one is for extended school year program, and that is 11,000. The extended school year program is for our students with severe needs, wherein usually they regress during long breaks. The second one is SPED curriculum and instructional materials. This is to support our students with disabilities in the classroom, which is amounting to 74,000. Next one is on-site professional development and training. This is to aim to provide support for teachers in providing them the skills and classroom support for direct instruction, which is 40,000. The next one is specialized service for students with disabilities. So we have some specialized needs or support that is needed in the school in the building level, like applied behavior, support, assessment, and other services. That's academic, functional, sensory, and behavioral needs. And that is 128,920. And we have the indirect cost, which is 75,826. And with that, it will total to 1,249,185. Next slide, please. The next slide would show the budget allocated for pre-K. And with the amount, with a limited amount of 54,925, we have distributed to the following: salaries and benefits for SPED bus driver and bus aide, which is 51,591, and we have the indirect cost, which is 3,334. Currently that's for the budget allocation for our IDEA for next school year.
Questions from the board, Ms. Haskey?
No, don't have any questions. Thank you.
Mr. So?
Just real quick, is the amount of money that is being applied for this year, is it a reduction or an increase compared to last year's IDEA Part B budget? Are we facing a cut?
From last school year to this next school year,
Yes.
I've noticed somewhere around 50,000 of a decrease from what was allocated to us last school year. I mean, this current school year to the next.
Okay.
Ms. Montoya?
No questions.
So in regards to Board Member So's question, with the loss of students, is that 50,000, the loss of that 50,000 is still adequate to service the students that we have?
Adequate? Well,
I know there's never enough.
yes.
However, I'm just saying in respect to the student count in and of itself.
With the allocated amount of that we received for next school year, I would say that it's not enough. So what the district is doing is that we're getting other funding source that is available for our district, and also a collaboration with other department, because the other department also has funding source that is basically given to all students and not just specifically for students with disabilities.
Okay, so there's opportunity for blended and braided funding for that, for those services.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so if there's no other further questions, and since this is an action item, someone would like to make a motion to approve.
I will make the motion to approve.
Second?
I second.
Was that Ms. Haskey?
Yeah.
Yes.
Vote a roll call, Ms. Haskey?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Ms. Montoya?
Yes.
Myself, that's 4. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much. Have
On
a
to
good day.
item F. Presentation and board action on bilingual multicultural education program application by Cheryl Benali.
Yad she Cheryl Benali Inishia, but Aninishlan to Heglini Bashachin. Nahabani Dashachin and is Dashanale. So good evening, Board President Montoya, Vice President Montoya, Secretary Aspis, Board Member So, and Board Member Haskey Overly. So I'm coming to you tonight to present the Bilingual Multicultural Education Program grant. This is a grant that we apply for each school year, and we are applying for 2026-2027. So as you can see, next slide, Sharon. We have a BME program guidelines in which we have to follow the 6.32.2.9 guidelines for our students to become bilingual biliterate in English and in their second language, and also to meet state core standards in all subject areas. So there is program eligibility. So we provide services to students from kindergarten through 12th grade. And so we have two different languages that we help with. And so that's Spanish and also Navajo. In this, part of this guideline is that we have to ensure that schools have a parent advisory committee, which is known as PAC, and also to provide letters to parents if they are a part of the program to be heritage, in the heritage program. And also teachers, there are requirements for the teachers to have a Native American culture and language and culture license. And also either that or have a bilingual endorsement, or the MCNL, which is for Spanish, and also have a TESOL endorsement. So the district models we have the 1 hour Navajo and Heritage K through 12, and also the English learners, which EL stands for. We have an enrichment model, which is a 1 hour Navajo and Spanish program, kindergarten through 12th grade, and also they're not English learners. They're not identified as English learners. We also have a dual language program, which is a 50-50 one-way program. And we have these programs at Newcomb Elementary and also at Eva B. Stokely. So we have program requirements for this grant. Next slide, Sharon. There's a number of students that we serve, which I'll go into further. One of them is we require district assurances to be signed by the superintendent, finance director, and myself. And also a board president signature is also required on the assurances. We do the program implementation. A requirement is tribal consultation, and also the count days are important. So there's a lot of things that we go through through this implementation process. The continued funding, PED has made it a little bit easier for us to, they have the dialogue already in place of what we're going to be doing. We just update the program models with the course code numbers and the ELA, ELD courses that we work with. We work with CNI to make sure and data department, the DART department, to make sure that we are in line with the count days. There is a monitoring process we have. Request data, we get data from the heritage and dual language programs just to see that the teachers are making sure that their students are a part of the program, either as categorized as a heritage or a enrichment program. So the CCSD protocols, we look at the school's master schedule. That's one of the requirements that we submit. We identify the school's parent advisory committee, and also educators are provided professional development. We also look at language proficiency and supplies and materials, and course and instructional models. And so we have schools assurances and the district assurances. So next we have the funding and implementation. So in doing this work for a long time, this grant supports the heritage and dual language teacher salaries. We provide teacher support, training. BME is bilingual multi-education related supplies and materials. We also support the state seal of bilingualism and biliteracy. So this year we have 3 Spanish students that will be earning their Spanish bilingual seal at Kirtland Central High School. So that we're really proud of that for this school year. Oral language development and curriculum and resources is what we have. But I wanted to add, as a part of our implementation this school year, we have really leaned on our department, such as the data assessment, research and technology department, to help us with the data, to clean up the data and to make sure that we're on the same page and that we have the course codes. It's curriculum and instruction. Roxanne, who really highlighted what is in STARS and what course codes that coincide with the BME funding to make sure that we have those all in place. In addition to that, we have the special education department that we collaborate with in order to provide training to help the teachers understand their students that may have an IEP in the classroom, and also provide them with accommodations. In addition, we have finance and operations that we collaborate with, because they have a hand in finance has a hand in monitoring our expenses and allocating the funding to the teacher salaries, and also operations for helping us to coordinate different things that may require transportation for students and things of that nature. So there's a lot that is in getting this program going and continuing to go. And so thank you, partners in the back, for all your help. So to go further, next slide. We are really proud of this process that we have. This year, we have what we call it piloting. I just want to highlight what we have. You see the bullet points of what we have, but what we have highlighted this year is we piloted an assessment, our own assessment, that is made by our teachers and from kindergarten through 12th grade. And there's a lot of things that go into place with this. And so we are focused on receptive and expressive. And so we're really wanting our students to speak. So with that, we bring in trainers to help us with that. And in addition, Mr. Carlson had an initiative, rather than going out for training, we're bringing trainers in to help us with that locally. And we've had many trainings in this boardroom to help with that. In addition, we have 2 instructional coaches who help us get on the ground and to help guide and provide guidance to the teachers out there to feedback. You know, sometimes there are gaps, but they help us, you know, to link those, to reduce those needs of what is needed out in the classrooms. Spanish programs, you'll see these programs really out in the Kirtland areas. It would be Judy Nelson, Kirtland Elementary, Kirtland Middle, and Kirtland Central High School. So I want to highlight that with the grace of getting approval from Mr. Carlson, we have a Spanish instructional coach, and that's Mr. Camacho. So he's really highlighting and meeting with the teachers. And I also like to acknowledge principal at KCHS, Ms. Westbrook, who really collaborated with us to make this happen. And he goes and visits the teachers on a schedule. So we do meet with him periodically, and he's doing great things and bringing in resources and helping to coach those other Spanish teachers in those areas. And so with the dual language Navajo, we have establishment of quarterly assessments. And this is the first year that we are doing it's the K through 6. Bringing on 6th grade on board was really a big challenge, but we were able to meet and how to organize those things in a 50-50 model. And so for kindergarten, for both schools, there's the one teacher that teaches both the English and Navajo, so their classes are pretty manageable. But when you go from 1st to 2nd, we have 2 different teachers that are teaching 2 different grade levels, so 1 Navajo and 1 English with the core. And so the next grade is 3rd and 4th, and then the next one is 5th and 6th. So that group of teachers, they're teaching 2 grade levels, so it's a lot of work. And I can tell you that trying to coordinate a schedule to meet the master schedule of what the principal has. And so Dr. Begay usually says it's a school within a school, and that's truly what it is that happening. Dual core, the language, the dual core classes, they follow the core content and district guidelines within CNI. The next slide just highlights the amount of students that are participating in each program. So we have 77 students total participating in Spanish programs from kindergarten, from kindergarten through 12th grade. Next one. We have a total of 1,354 students, kindergarten through 12th grade, that are in their Navajo and/or enrichment programs. Next. We have our dual language program at Eva B. Stokely. We have a total of 95 students. And so we do have those students that are going to move up. So I believe 6th grade will go into 7th grade really prepared for their 7th grade year. Next slide. The Newcomb Elementary have a total of 59 students. So same there, we have a high level of 5th and 6th grade. So we're going to be keeping track of the 6th graders as they move on to see how they do in 7th grade, because it's always shown that the dual language students, they're academically, they're ready to meet the next levels. And in the past, we've had a few students that were middle school dual language that wish they had a dual language middle school. in high school, which they do in other places within the state. Next slide. So this is the timeline of what I go through. I do present the BMEP presentation to the principals and also do a prep for the application process. So it's not all done at once. So principal PLC in January, February were provided the updates of what they used to participate, but we do give them information as to how this process works. And we also get updated information for their parent advisory committee. So we gather the data with the help of the DART department and all the teachers and also the special education, and also prepare for the board presentation. And so it's all a timeline that we follow, and it seems to work and help guide the work. And so this is our timeline. Next slide. So this is the team that we work with to help us gather this entire project with our BMEP application. I think that is the last slide, and I provided you with resources from PED. Thank you.
Any questions from the board, Ms. Haskey?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you for the presentation.
Mr. So,
Just real quick, what is the total budget you're looking at or funding amount?
So we are looking at the same amount of what we have, and of course that's a amount that runs. You take that times like maybe 20 teachers, and so we do have supplemental grants that are like the Title VI in the Indian Ed that help with that, offset that. So we do some adjustments, and so we really anytime there's an increase, we look at those and we see how we can manage and maneuver with those costs.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Ms. Montoya?
No questions. Thank you for the presentation.
So with that question for Mr. So, obviously braided again or blended,
right?
Title I, Title III?
Actually, not Title III, but Title VI.
Six.
Indian Ed grant.
Okay.
And the BME grant. And of course, the Johnson O'Malley did take a partial, but due to the funding, we really had to go through and look at the budgets, and that was one of the reasons we brought all the internal PDs local, okay, so we could.
All right. The other question, when you go back to the dual language core, it says follow core content with district and CNI guidelines. So if you have 4th grade, 5th grade, are they both, whether it's in Navajo or English, teaching the same core content?
What it is that the Navajo side, they cover the Navajo social studies, the Navajo language, of course, and I think they have a Navajo science in that one. And the other one is ELA and what is the other class? Oh gosh. So it's basically the third hour. So let me just tell you what the ones that we claim for heritage hours for dual language. So dual language, we have Navajo social studies, we have the science, and we have the Navajo language. So that counts as the 3 hour. So the ELA, ELD, or ELA on the other end is where the core takes over, and they may take some of the math on that end also.
Okay.
And we do recommend that the principal allows the core to participate in the what trainings are with CNI, but they're also welcome to come to the heritage / dual language internal PDs.
Because it's important for both of them,
right,
to understand
right,
what the left hand and the right hand are doing, and
exactly,
communicating that, so there's not too much of a deviation either way.
Right.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're doing that and that these kids aren't being shortchanged in any way.
No.
So, all righty, thank you. If there's no further questions, someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second?
I second.
Vote a roll call, Ms. Haskey?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Ms. Montoya?
Yes.
And myself, yes, that's 4. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You as well. Item 4, executive session. A, convening executive session, discussion on limited personnel matters regarding the board's goals and expectations of the superintendent as permitted under NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. Someone like to make a motion to convene into executive session.
I'll make the
I
motion.
make the motion.
I believe that was Mr. So. Second?
I second.
Only reason I heard that, I got my hearing aids in my ears. Ms. Haskey, vote a roll call. Ms. Haskey.
Yes.
Mr. So.
Yes.
Ms. Montoya.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Time is now 7:12. We are adjourned for the executive session. Thank you.
All right, Christina, we're back in the main boardroom. Mr. Montoya's about ready to do something. I'm gonna shut my mic off because
Well, whenever we get Miss Haskey back up there. Is she back on? And then, to make sure we're live too. Are we back live? Oh, okay. Well, we still got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, what if she dropped off? I'm gonna start. Okay, time 8:39. Item B, reconvene in open session as stated that the board has discussed in the executive session only the subject identified in the agenda as the reason for which the meeting was closed. Discussion on limited personnel matters regarding board goals, expectations, superintendent as permitted under NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1 H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. Could I get a motion to reconvene?
I will make the motion to reconvene in open session.
I second.
Vote a roll call. Ms. Haskey. Let me continue with Mr. So. Yes?
Yes.
Ms. Montoya?
Yes.
Ms. Aspis? Yeah, I got that.
I want to make sure.
Waiting on Ms. Haskey to.
Board secretary said yes.
Yeah, she did. Can I transfer real quick, please? Oh, she does. Oh, okay. Ms. Haskey.
I'm here.
All right, very
How do you
good.
vote?
How do you vote to reconvene?
I vote yes.
All righty, so we are reconvened. There is no action on the executive session, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to item A, items for the regular school board meeting for next Thursday. Obviously, we have this issue tabled, and we're going to discuss further, and so that may be a consideration for the regular board meeting. Is there anything else, anybody else? For next week's meeting. Yes. Do you have anything you'd like discussed?
You're wanting that now?
Yes.
May I?
Yes, please.
How can we add, well, I think if we, well, how can we add the, topic of MMIW to, or MMIP to, our district?
That's a good question. I think maybe Ms. Chappelle and Steve can have that conversation. She's agreeing to that. So they'll discuss that to see what we can do and how we can do it, if it is possible. We're gonna have that conversation first, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Ms. Haskey?
No, nothing.
Mr. So?
Nothing.
Ms. Montoya?
No.
I have nothing, and with that, we can move on to item 6, adjournment.
I motion to adjourn.
Mr. So?
I second.
Ms. Montoya, vote a roll call. Ms. Haskey?
Yes.
Mr. So?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Aspis? Ms. Montoya?
Yes.
And myself, that's 5. The meeting is adjourned. The time is now 8:43. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Have fun at work. Be careful. I'm not at work. Oh, you, okay. All right, get some rest.
Appreciate it. Thank you.